ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's event organized by the Arts of Action in partnership with the Royal African Society and International. We're here to celebrate Dawit Issa, who has been recognized by UNESCO for his courage and his terminated suffering in the prison without charge or trial. His present location and condition is unknown, and he is not alone. There are many other journalists in this situation. We hear that here and use this moment to shine the light on Eritrea. Mr. was already in was in 2005. His present location is unknown. In an independent international journal of media professional anonymously recommended Mr. Issa in recognition of his courage, persistence, and commitment to freedom of expression. This recommendation was endorsed by UNESCO Director General Rina Oboka. UNESCO Director General endorsed Dawit winning this year 2017 award. Defending fundamental freedom calls for determination and courage. It calls for fearless advocacy. This is the legacy of the President of UNESCO, and the message we send today with this decision is to highlight the work of Dawit Issa. I welcome my friend Powers here now to read as an expert of Dawit's treatment.
Good evening. Before I read, I'm going to read through who is Dawit, and then a couple of letters that he wrote, and then to see if that makes him an enemy of the state. For a little background, we found 8 pages. Dawit Issa is one of our well-known writers, a playwright and journalist. He moved to Sweden in 1987, where he later became a citizen and went into self-imposed exile. After the independence of Eritrea in 1991, he returned to his homeland to become the founder and report of the first independent newsletter in the country. He was known in the book. He also set up a children aquatic and a of Joshua, which has been seen here in the couple of clips. Now I'm going to read a letter Dawit wrote. And then you can ask yourself that this person makes him of the enemy of the state in prison for 15 years. Dawit writes, it is to recall that in the 49th edition, Satit published an open letter written by the village executive addressed to the office of the President of the State of Eritrea, calling for an immediate lift of the ban imposed on the village Shingora farm. As the letter was published without further investigation, Satit has set to a study the matter in order to provide a clear picture pertaining land dispute between the two neighboring villages. The question naturally asked is why in the 100 hectare of arable land, the source of the disputes of the neighboring village, Shingora and Bet Gabu, left unused. And then there goes to elderly man. I will start with an elderly Eritrean saying hello to Dawit. Hello, Swati, Kemewi. As I have heard from my parents who have witnessed in the first hand, the first person who owned the land was Aune Orca. Then he was passed to another Italian woman by the name frequently going to the area during my childhood, herding goats and facing small farm woods. Then came Vicky, later goes to the land from Ordola. One replaced by another developer by the name Ernesto Bianco took the land from Artola. Of course, I remember well Ernesto Bianco. Later it was passed to the Catholic fraternity, in which we clearly expressed our discontent. Not in our opposition, the frat conceded for joint venture. Hence, 51 families who were cultivating the land with them struggled enough. Now we have encountered some who claim ownership to the land, but have never been in the scene of 4 generations while the land has gone under cycle of change of hands. We have never heard of such claim from their fathers and grandfathers, as they never cultivated the land. Quite confusing. David goes on outlining the finding in his investigation. He concludes, dispute land was left barren the last summer. The government banned the 2 parties from cultivating it. Why not it take initiative to develop it? Then this was the question I was about to ask administrator of the region, Mr. Mohammed Tsehaye. But as I mentioned earlier, he declined to comment. The villagers appealed to administrators to lift the ban and let them support their family. Did not receive any positive reply. Not only that, as the inhabitants claim, the 3 villagers who cultivated part of the designated land area were taken into custody and for 40 hours in prison without charge. With others who did not even cultivate the land. The level was too low. I'm going to be reading the introduction part of the letter. So, the letter was like this. This letter is a call for action, for peaceful and democratic development, a call for strengthening and conservation, a call for unity, a call for the rule of law and for justice through peaceful and legal ways and means. For some time now, regular meetings of the Central Council and the National Council have not been held, believing that the best way to resolve problems is through meetings and democratic dialogue. We requested twice through signed letters that President Isaias Afwerki, as the chairman of the Central Council of PFDJ and the National Council of the State of Eritrea, convene meetings for both bodies. But he twice responded positively to our request. Those of us who made these requests have, as responsible members of both bodies, now chosen to write this letter, this open letter to all members of the PFDJ. Most of us have been spent more than a quarter of a century in a struggle for independence, and many of us have different times served our countries. And many of us at different times have served our country at high levels of responsibility. We've witnessed and taken part in the struggle for our people for liberation, and are now serving the front of the state and people. PFJ and the government, so that people participate in a discussion and the decisions that are important national issues to enable Eritrea to come out of this crisis. To pave the road for the transition, but only establish peace to Eritrea to become peaceful and take democracy, justice, and prosperity shall prevail. In the Eritrea, the consolidating internal democracy within the PFDJ is essential to ensure a democratic process of the transition and the establishment of a democratic constitutional government. And our aim and message is this, and only this. Thank you.
I realize that I haven't done my job real. I'm supposed to present myself. I'm not here at SOA, studying law here. But I'm here as in my role as a human rights activist. This is my fourth, I think, Press Freedom Day celebration. But I'm born in Sweden, and that's why I'm doing most work. And my uncle, who left during the prison, wasn't paid for the same reason. So I'm here and now we got it. Dear dear, last night I had a dream that you were asleep. Together with your daughter, I stood to the front of you. You fell to your knees the moment you stepped through that door, but your girl ran to pick you up and gave you the biggest hug ever. And you cried and cried and cried. Abby kept herself anchored to your arm while repeating the words, "This is real," over and over and over again. The rest of us just kept crying. We could not understand you wisely. Then I woke up. A lot of people ask me and wonder why I chose to get involved in your case. Some wonder why I tried to influence the government that they believe will never listen. I fight because I have a responsibility. Because I have no other choice. I don't think it's a coincidence that you're in prison and that I do something about it. For me, that is enough to how we do freedom. It's on the people. I don't know that. I'm hungry. I'm involved to free all of it. Sometimes I get your uncle, the father of my beloved little cousins, and my mother owned them. I almost forget that it's not just a symbol we're fighting, but a human being. And when a human life is at stake, we cannot take a chance. Allow ourselves to that it's already done. At that moment, every possibility and every attempt to help anyway, however, must be considered and followed through. But when it comes to human life, all of us who have the slightest ability to provide assistance have an obligation to at least try to do so. I know so much about you, and you're such a big part of me. You're a dream that is you. It's that love and courage. And it goes on with each new person who's touched our story. If I were to promise anything, it is that every hour that the whole world has heard it, so that all of us can unite and demand freedom together. But I'll be honest with you, Siam. It is a difficult fight. The Eritrean government ignores us, and too few people know about your country to even care about what happens there. But this just proves to us how much work there still is to be done. And it is only when we have started every option that we have the right to say that the fight for your freedom is in vain. Because as long as I know that there's at least a sliver of hope for my work to have even the slightest impact on your case, I will not think about stopping. And there's always hope. I want you to know that what gives me strength to continue fighting is your courage. You knew that you'd be in prison, all of you did. But you believed that the fight for democracy and freedom in Eritrea was greater than yourself. You did something that very few people would dare to do. You sacrificed your own life for what you believe in. The fight for your freedom may be tough, but it's nothing compared to the battle that you have been waging, alone in yourself, for more than 15 years. The first thing I did when I woke up was to write down everything I remember from my dream. I will never, and I never want to forget the feeling I had when you stepped through that door and embraced your little girl. Because it is precisely this vision that is our goal. And when the aim looks like that, when the goal is so big and so powerful and full of love and wonder, then I have no choice but to continue to give my all until the day that you are free. Trust in yourself, Siam. Be strong. Hold on. You managed for so long. Now, there's not much time left. All my love and eternal support. Your niece. Next up is a poem written in solidarity by Peter.
Okay, my name's Peter Lodge. I wrote a poem in solidarity with Isaac for the National Poetry Don't Isaac shut up in darkness. Isaac don't Isaac find darkness. Don't Isaac unheard and unseen in darkness. Don't Isaac not forgotten in darkness. Don't Isaac not forgotten by his ruler. Isaac not forgotten by his friends. Don't Isaac not forgotten by his family. Don't Isaac not forgotten by his two citizen lands. Don't Isaac not forgotten by us here today. Don't Isaac talks to us here today. Don't Isaac talks to his two citizen lands. Don't Isaac talks in his silence. Don't Isaac talks in isolation. Don't Isaac talks in his pain and isolation. Don't Isaac's darkness talks. Once this land had a future, with clear hope, a new life of people together. All there is destroyed. All the various voices heard. All the various voices talked together. All the various voices lighten darkness. Magazines and newspapers lighten darkness. Serena, Admas, Zigane, Seti. All the words tumbling out like foam, luminous like the sea at night. Words various as stars in the sky. Words welcoming lit windows in the night. The words that illuminate a land. David Isaac helped utter these words once. But the ruler said, we know how to handle his kind. We know how to handle such people. We must waste their lives. We must destroy their lives. We must empty their lives. We must make them live in darkness. We must do this across the land. We must never end with war. War and power must be all we know. War against ourselves is the best. Anyone not fighting against my people, he is the enemy of my people. She is the enemy of Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in Eritrea, apart from the names of local plants and foods. So these are the rulers and his regime's contributions to the world's common stock of words and concepts. Hospital, torture position with arms tied to the elbows behind the back. Gifa, round up to check identity papers, travel documents, etc., or seize people national service. Bardo Celeste, 03, Pacific radio frequency, presidential disinformation service or state-sourced ruler mill. Even the ruler knows no one believes the official communications. Ne Hadera, people handed over to the police by security staff or officers from the military or regional administration without their names ever being disclosed or registered. Vanessa Tsehaye, delicious bite, unofficial payment to secure release of a prisoner. Pharaoh, iron handcuffs with bolster tighter than as torture. Almaz, diet. Torture position with victims suspended by tied together elbows, just standing on tiptoe. Wasay Yikiara, heirs of the freedom fighters. Conscripts into the effectively working lifetime compulsory national service used for forced labour or any government requirements. Minkesakesi, government or military issued pass allowing internal travel, which is illegal without it. Lerit or Zalemish, condition which causes the sufferer to only be able to walk backwards as she is unable to control her legs and walk in a forward direction, and also accompanied by trembling. It is a consequence of rape and other forms of ill treatment during national service. His Bawi Seroit, population soldiers. Militia uses guards, which anyone of any age not serving in the army can be compelled to join, thus making up for the loss of young people fleeing the country. These are the words of darkness, the change into endless night, closing and closing and closing all doors on their users. In the earth. The words of Dawit Isaak open up and fly. They are other than darkness. Light opening, bathing like the sea. Dawit Isaak is kept in darkness. Dawit Isaak lives shut up in darkness, but he also lives in the open light. His words help create. Dawit Isaak lives, a free man imprisoned by power, alone in its darkness. Dawit Isaak lives, shall live in the world